This is a bee box. Long before you were actually able to order bees via the mail, you actually would have to find beehives. Now, beehives sometimes would be very obvious and sometimes it would be very subtle. This would be a tool that you'd use when beehives were actually relatively difficult to locate. This is a handmade tool. I say handmade. Power tools were involved in its creation, but all the pieces were hand measured and all that kind of good stuff. And it's really atrocious from a woodworking perspective. So if you're a woodworker, don't pay attention to like the badness, the poor quality. Do pay attention to how cool the actual tool is. If you were to try to line bees or to locate their hive, you would first find a bee that was on a flower trying to pick up some nectar and pollen, and then you'd capture him by closing the lid suddenly on him. You could check and see if he was in there by raising this little flap, and you could verify that you in fact had a angry bee inside. Bees are attracted to light, so at this point you would open this gate, and there's glass here as well. And inside there is a small sliding door. You can barely see it with the reflections going on, so I'm going to open this. Perhaps a little light will shine in. But as you pointed this towards the sun, you would open this and the bee would then move into this chamber, the sealed chamber. You would then close the gate back. Oops, it's now open. You would then close the gate back and capture another bee. This would go on for about 10 bees until you had 10 bees buzzing in this portion of the chamber. Once you had 10 bees buzzing in this portion of the chamber, you would then close this, ensure that your gate was closed so they couldn't come back out and get you. Open this portion of it back up, and then you take and put a small piece of honeycomb with sugar water in it. At that point, you would open your gate, you'd close this, and open the gate. The bees would slowly make their way into the first chamber, and they would start to collect the sugar water. After a little while, they would have filled their bellies and would be very calm, and you could then open this up. Once they saw they were exposed to light again and the outside world, they would then fly off to carry the sugar water back to their hive. The neat thing would be is that they would tell everyone, forget this, forget the nectar. We've actually got a source of great sugar water that's practically honey already, so we're going to have to do very little work. Come on back and I'll show you where it's at. So periodically your bees would fly back and forth, and more bees would fly back and forth, almost in a straight line, coming right to your little bee box. You'd have to refill your honeycomb occasionally, but once you did that, you could mark a bee with a little bit of chalk and some water applied with a paintbrush. Time the amount of time it takes for that particular bee to come back. Subtract the time that you think it would take for him to drop his load of sugar water off, and divide that by 2, and you've got approximate flying time for your bee. So you know approximately in what direction bees are flying in a straight line, and approximately how far your beehive is. Then you could go find it and get the bees out, and then you have a hive full of honeybees. Anyway, great little tool, and what was intriguing to me about this was the beauty of the box itself. What an intricate little tool for capturing bugs, essentially. Have a great day.